What's up guys, back with another training video of me talking over my lift, what I'm doing, the goals that I'm trying to achieve, time of year, all that stuff. So basically today I was doing a progression of what I did in the previous week. So you'll notice that I do a lot of hang cleans. So I want to touch on why I do so many hang cleans and some of my mindset behind it. So basically the reason I'm doing hang cleans is because I have a really tough time pulling from the floor. As you guys know, I have a lot of hip issues. Basically, I can't get into a good amount of hip flexion and internal rotation. And that makes it difficult to get in the bottom of a power clean because I would need to either be extremely externally rotated or tilt my pelvis into posterior tilt to be able to get into a good set position. So I've been doing what I can do, and what I would recommend you guys do if you ever have injuries is find a workaround. And for me, that's hang power cleans. The downside is it's really hard to catch the bar whenever I drop it down from my shoulders. So my upper body has to be a little bit stronger, but it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Then I actually got into some step ups on the belt squat here. I tried these out a little bit last week. I don't know if I had that in a YouTube video, but here's me doing them again. And my logic behind this is that I want to load my hip and knee in a balanced way. And I also find that when I hurt my hamstring, walking upstairs hurts like a decent amount when I tend to lean over a little bit. So I'm trying to replicate that position here. Obviously it's not quite the same because the belt is actually pulling me forward. If I had a longer chain or something like that, that probably wouldn't even matter. But I, am kind of setting it up so that I feel a lot in my hip and even in my hamstring, because your hamstring actually crosses two joints. It crosses your knee joint and your hip joint. So I tend to have issues on the kind of medial side, almost towards my adductor. It might even be my adductor that I keep tweaking or feeling. And the reason why I think that I feel it a lot is that over time, and I think I've said this before, what can happen is you get nerve issues in the muscle. And so you might not even be pulling it or have it pulled or have any damage going on in that tissue, but research basically indicates that you'll have a persisting pain because the nerves have proliferated and those nociceptive nerve fibers, pain nerve fibers, are kind of being recruited. So I try to find ways to load my hamstring creatively so that I am able to kind of induce a little bit of that pain and push into that pain, just a smidge so that I adapt and eventually, it'll go away. So I tend to get a little bit of that sensation, and it's so weird. It's like a little bit of a tiny grabbing sensation, but it never causes like serious issues. It never causes like that much of a problem, but I can always feel it. So step ups, especially the way that I'm doing them here, it's pretty balanced. I'm using my, offhand or contralateral arm to hold on to the pitch arc, and the support leg is just pushing up and down. I had to go really slow kind of at the touchdown with my foot because I was pushing off of that leg so much. And obviously the goal is not to load my plantar flexors on the, off leg, on the free leg, I guess you could call it. So I was trying to go really, really slow, keeping my other hand usually floating off. And this rep, I actually didn't do that. So that's kind of my bad. But I was getting a pretty good load in my knee and my hip. And I was really happy with it as a stimulus. Right now, the focus for me is more or less general prep, and I'm trying to accumulate a lot of volume right now. So I'm doing sets of 10 here on my right and my left leg, and that'll probably increase in intensity slightly while I increase volume. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing that usually, but I know my body pretty well, and I'm fairly confident I can handle that pretty easily. And I'll also be adjusting my jump sessions accordingly. So I'll be doing a lot of slightly lower intensity, but higher volume sessions. So whether it's, coming into the session with less steps on my run-in, or if it is, adjusting the level of effort on certain jumps, even if I do have a full approach. Probably gonna do that by honestly using a lower rim. And the other benefit of that is that it's specific, but still somewhat non-specific. So you can do your sport, which is the specific part, and usually you want to go from general to specific. So you can still get dunking in, but it's not so specific that I'm gonna have a difficult time progressing throughout the year. So the other session, if you guys watched the video, I was working on cuffing a lot, and I was also working on my lob one-handers, throwing the ball off the rim a little bit. And so I'm gonna play with that, and I decided today I wanna keep staying on those slightly lower rims. That rim there is 9.4 and 9.5, or 9.9. So I'm gonna keep on those rims. Anyways, back to the lift here. So I was doing RDLs, and I got up to, I guess it would have been a 45 and 225s on each side. So I think it's like, I don't know, 235 or something. 245s is 225. So yeah, 245, which was, that's not right. 235, there we go, which was pretty good. I was feeling, again, my hamstring a little bit in those, but nothing too bad. I ended up getting into some calf raises here after that, and I really want to get a lot of volume in plantar flexion right now, because I've never really periodized plantar flexion volume for myself. I mean, for my athletes to some extent, but I personally think that 1 foot jumping, you know, the plantar flexors play such a huge role in being able to get a lot of lift, because your ankle angulates so much when you look at a 1 foot jump. You can just look at someone's calf and Achilles, and you'll see that, you know, all of the striations in it. You'll be able to see, you know, the Achilles kind of tapering down, and a lot of those series elastic components, which is the Achilles, kind of shoot out. And you can even tell here, you can see my gastroc is kind of popping a little bit, especially on that left leg. And I was actually happy with that, because I think it's really hard to get a true, not a true stimulus, but it just, because like sprinting and plyos and all this other stuff, you load the lower legs so much. I think that a lot of people, especially in track, kind of neglect the plantar flexors. And so for me, I'm actually trying to make sure that I don't do that, especially in my strength work, and that I kind of periodize around it, because it is such an important propelling joint in 1 foot and 2 foot jumping, but definitely 1 foot jumping. So you'll notice here at the end, I was doing some tippy toe calf raises, and that's just, I'm trying to get my peroneals, longest and brevis, and trying to really make sure that I'm strong all the way up through my big toe, kind of just like some accessory work. Anyways, that's the video, guys, and thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And if you guys are looking for coaching, go to tsbstrength.com.